maybe you can find out if that will be the case. But we're glad everybody is here with us on this session of Ask the Pros, where there is fear in the market and there is also risk in the market. And you know it, I know it. That's why you always want to make sure you understand whatever you're trading before you ever click that mouse, because your money is at risk. You can lose it. You can lose a lot of it. You can lose it all. And we want to make sure that we help you understand some of the tips and the ideas and the tools that we use to give us an edge to trade in the market. So we're going to do that today on this fearful day in the market. And we got this fear and greed index. And generally, everybody knows when there's a lot of fear, extreme fear in the market, then hey, that might be a time to buy. Let's find out what our panelists think is going to happen, where the buying opportunities are, where the selling opportunities are, how they are navigating a very volatile market that does feel a lot like last year and some other years as well. So welcome, Jeffrey Turnmeyer, Scott Welsh, and Jack Carter. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's just kind of go around the table here a little bit and just ask some questions. First of all, where the market has pulled back quite a bit. What are we off about a little more than 5% from the highs on the S&P? Maybe are we going to go down some more? Where's this thing end? We've got a government that was going to shut down and then decided not to shut down for 45 days. That plays into it. What are some of the biggest factors that you see? We'll start with you, Jeffrey. What are some of the biggest factors that you see in this market that people need to pay attention to?
Well, first off, you got to separate your economy from the stock market. They're not the same thing. So, we can talk about the economy falling apart and coming to pieces. And, that's all going to brew. That's like a cruise ship going down, and we're not going to turn around instantly. The big thing is that, to me, when you look at the market on a forward earnings basis, looking at price earnings growth, PEG, the stock market is the cheapest it's been in 14 years right
Crazy,
now.
isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody thinks, oh, everything's overpriced. The PEs are out but if you actually look at the growth, the planned growth, we've dialed back the price to earnings so much that the growth potential makes this the cheapest that the stock market has been. Looking at the growth in 14 years. And this right here, this little correction, that was due after that epic March to July rally that was a top 5% move ever from World War II. I mean, that run was one of the longest, strongest runs we've ever had, 95%. And a 2-month correction. So what? We pulled back a little bit. And I think you just need to keep perspective. The market is efficient at freaking everybody out, getting you scared, shaking you out of your position, and then taking off. Yeah. And I think that's right where we are. We're either bottomed we either have bottomed or we're going to bottom early next week is my view on this. And we're going to be off to go approach the all-time high. Yeah. That's where I stand right now.
Good. All right, good. Jack Carter, what are your thoughts? What factors are important? What do people need to be thinking about right now?
They need to be thinking about everything Jeffrey said. He said it all. I have nothing else to say. He's the love you, man. You're right on. So are you, Scott, and so are you, Celeste. But when you lead with Jeffrey, that's a tough act to follow. But hey, the thing is, I don't focus on the economy. I'm not, I got adult ADD. I can't read stuff. I don't want to figure stuff out. I just like the volatility. I was hoping the government was going to shut down. I love that kind of stuff. I love the craziness. Like Jeffrey was saying, this market had to go down in order to go higher. And that sounds crazy. But with the run we had earlier this year, it had to cool off a little bit. And I think we're going to get a real good tech rally this year. But I could tell people this is great. The worse the market is, and the higher rates go, it sets us up for possibly sometime next year, which is not that far away, to have one of the biggest bull markets we've ever had in our lifetime. Because when we had that zero rate environment, he couldn't do anything. The Fed's only powers with that interest rate. And so the market kind of bottomed out. And I kind of wonder if this isn't a whole conspiracy theory to get interest rates back up so they could lower them again. Now, when he starts cutting rates, man, this market's going to tear. Just, you got to be ready for that, because it's going to roll.
I think that's well said.
In the meantime, this volatility is setting me up for some option premium selling like I haven't I haven't experienced before. And we could touch on that later if you want.
Let's definitely touch on that here just a little bit later. Scott, what are your thoughts? What are the factors that people need to be thinking about, be aware of in a market like this?
Well, to answer that economic question, as always, I'll use a tennis example because that's completely relevant. But in my years as a high performance tennis coach, there are a lot of kids who come to me and say, I want to be great. I want a college scholarship. I want to turn pro. And those are words coming out of their mouth. Oh, that's great, Tommy. That's great, Susie. And then they don't play any tournaments. They don't show up to practice. They don't listen in the lessons, and they go on vacations.
Yeah.
In other words, I don't care what they say. I care what they do, right? If you're going to be great, then it's going to be what you do on the court. Well, all this economic talk, like Jack, just makes my head spin. You read market's going to correct 25% in the next month. And then you read, well, Q4 is a great quarter for stocks. And then, of course, September is bad, but September is now going to turn into October. I've finally, I'll still read it, but I'm so tired of the world's going to end and the world's going to be great. And I finally got a little fatigue. And what I want to see is what happens on the chart. And what's super interesting, piggybacking on what Jeffrey said, take all this talk. What's the market really doing? And I'm going to show a long-term chart. I like those long-term charts. It has bounced. The SPY has bounced exactly off the long-term moving average. Almost exactly, as if it's going to bounce upward, right? So I know it's doom and gloom, and I know things can turn, and there'll be so many V revert. I get all that, but I'm waiting to see what the market actually does, not what other people tell me it might do. And there are some ways to look at that, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later too. But there are ways to just prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it, get to this level, and then, that's bullish, and then be ready, like Jack said. Gosh darn it, we got to be ready because something I think is around the corner.
Yeah. Excellent. Great. A lot of good comments. Thank you. So, so as we look at this market and it's been very volatile and, looking at where does it kind of bottom out and what are the opportunities? And I know you all are active traders, and you certainly don't have your head in the sand by any stretch of the imagination. You're very active. But you're also probably a little choosy on things that you're doing right now in this volatility. How have you transitioned, or what are some key things that you have been doing in this volatile market, maybe that you don't always do, like when it was just going on a tear up? What are some key things that you're doing right now, the last several weeks and into the next couple of weeks, that are helping you just be really honed in on accuracy in your trading? So this time we'll start with you, Scott. How about that?
Well, you look back to Warren Buffett, right? I mean, he's read anything you can about Warren Buffett, but he started his little partnership back in the early Warren Buffett days, and things were going awesome. I mean, he was just putting up eye-popping numbers, way more than he did now. And then what happened? Late 60s, heading to the 70s, everything had gone up. Like, he didn't have anything else to trade. And Alexander looked and he wept because there were no more worlds to conquer, right? And he dissolved it. And then he turned into Berkshire Hathaway came next, and blah, blah, blah. But like Jack said, it is super hard when everything is going up. Like, how do you catch NVIDIA if it's already gone up 72% or whatever? It's hard to catch stuff when it's out of control. But when it's not hard to catch stuff is when it's pulled back.
Nice.
And this pullback has been really, really exciting. If you can find stuff that's doing okay when the market's not, guess what happens when the market is, right? The market's going to pull it right along. So I am super excited in the last really month or several weeks. This is the time where if you want to pick stocks, whether you're trading stocks or doing options, what a great time on a pullback.
Perfect.
Find something that's working when nothing else is working. And then guess what? I mean, it's a pattern that's been repeated over and over since, for 100 years. So for me, I like it. I know that's crazy, but I like it when it pulls back. Take some short trades, but look for something that's been strong during week. I love looking for that, and I love doing it.
Excellent. Great. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't really change at all. I just kind of stay in my lane and do my thing. And when the market gets more volatile, it's actually better for me. And for those of you that don't know, my whole thing is selling options and watching them expire worthless. I like to sell them while they have a little time value, and then watch them go worthless. One of the things I love about that is I don't know anything in the business world that you can sell on a Tuesday and have it be worthless on Friday. Maybe if you're selling fruits or vegetables or flowers or stuff like that that goes bad. But just the concept of being able to take money, that people say Jack doesn't make money, he takes money. Just to take all that premium you can get on Tuesday. I'll give you an example. AVGO, I've got a bear call spread on that this week. It expires today. I sold the 860 put and got almost $1. And what is AVGO? 822? So I mean, just look at how far out of the money I am with just 4 hours left in the market. I just can't believe how high options prices go in volatility. And it's almost right now too easy to sell options and take that premium. And I haven't made a directional trade on a stock in probably 2 weeks because this has just been so good. I was using bull put spreads on AVGO and NVIDIA. And then a couple of weeks ago, I started using the bear call. So it's great. What I do is this strategy works in bull and bear markets. It's just a matter of keeping your eye on the broad market and then setting up your individual trades to take that premium and set them up as income trades, whether it's covered calls, credit spreads, whatever, naked puts. That's just been phenomenal. While everybody else is watching the individual stocks going up and down and looking for a pullback, something to get in on, the whole time you're waiting and messing around with that, you could just be taking premium. That's just, I just love that. I don't know why, but that's my thing. And you got to find a strategy that fits your personality, something you really love. Otherwise, it's more like work. Yeah. And for me, I can't wait to get into this every week.
Yeah. Well, I want to come back to you, Jack, after I ask Jeffrey this question next. And let's get into a little bit more detail of that. Any kind of more details that you can share with us that will help traders be able to at least start to look at it this way or to take advantage of some of that volatility. But first, Jeffrey, how have you been approaching these last several weeks, versus less volatile times?
I've been planning the bottom. I mean, I had my market roadmap line on the chart for this whole rally. I've said once we get exhausted, and that was coming into July, that we would return to that market roadmap line. And I'll share more detail about that as we go on here. But we came right back to it on the daily chart. I mean, it's a simple little pattern, and I'll give people a chance to join me in that process. I throw out a weekly watch list, and it really just kind of guided me. I was expecting it to come down to this area, and we're there. And for the last, I don't know, week or two, maybe, I think it's like 8 days now. Yeah, eight-ish days. I've just been waiting for the reversal to set up, like just waiting and waiting. Like I'm just been sitting here going, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to get into that. Just planning out what I'm going to get into. As Scott was saying, the strong stuff. Like I've got a list of things that aren't all the way down. Like Google is sitting there, just been hovering, and Spotify, SPOT. We talked about that last week. That trade is still looking beautiful right there. These things are like, you go find those strong ones and you just plan them and you get ready, because when the market turns and starts supporting going higher again, it's time to go. Like you got to be ready. I think Warren Buffett also said, when everybody else, when there's blood in the streets, that's the time to be buyer. Scott nodding his head there. You gotta be ready for these big pullbacks. And when everybody else is freaking out, when that fear is maxed out, you gotta be a buyer. You gotta be ready to jump on the opportunities. Excellent. And that's where I've been. That's my plan. That's what I've been, trying to prepare everybody that follows me for, is that when this thing turns, we're like, that's the money making time right there. And sometimes you just get that one day that's a huge 150 point rally. And then it's chop, incremental gains. So if you miss those big days, that's the day you're looking back going, God, if we could just get another one of those, like I'll be ready for it. When you're ready for it is when there's blood in the streets. I mean, that's really when you get ready for it.
All right. Well, let's get ready for it. Let's find out first from Jack, and then I'll come over to you, Scott. I want to hear more about those strong stocks and how people can be ready for that now. But Jack, can you share a little more detail with us? And like even some people have posted it there into the chat, the selling of the premium, because certainly there's risk with that as well. So, maybe you could even talk about some of the risk or how you avoid the risk in when you're selling premium, and explain that a little bit more. So like, do you ever get assigned? Are you selling puts because you want to be assigned? How does that process really work for you?
Yeah. Well, on the credit spread trade, I use what's called a tripwire that I invented. And a lot of people go into their trading platform and they're looking for this tripwire, but it doesn't exist. You just got to learn how to use it. So the way I do it is with a credit spread, the way they calculate a break even is not the way it works in the real world. So like with this AVGO trade, I'm short the 860 call. I bought the 860 250 call as a hedge. And if the stock were to get up toward 859, that's lower than the break even, but I would unwind that trade right there. That'd give me the best chance to get out as close to break even as possible. Now with the naked put, I mostly do that on stocks that I would take them. I don't necessarily want to take them, but I'll set that naked put strike price closer to the price of the stock if I want to get it, the stock. If I don't want to get the stock, and it's falling, I would buy back that put and take a loss on it. You sell it for one price, but if the stock goes down, the value of that put goes up. So to avoid getting assigned, you would just buy back that put. But that's rare because a lot of times when you do get assigned on Friday, you have the chance on Monday if the stock pops back up. We had this happen with Pepsi. We got assigned on Monday. It was up $4 or $5. So if you sell it, let's say you sell a strike price at $80 and you make $2 premium, then $78 is your break even on that naked put, right? So if you get it put to you at 80, your real cost is 78. And then you could start selling calls against that position. If you do naked puts right, it is almost impossible to lose. Same with covered calls. We've been doing this class for over a year, and it's so much easier for me and works better for me than directional trading. Just buying a stock and hoping it goes up, or shorting a stock and anticipating a fall. Right now, to me, that's brutally hard. It's way easier to just take in premium.
Excellent. Great. That's good. So hopefully that was really helpful to a lot of people listening, a lot of different ways that you can sell that premium and how Jack is, monitoring all that. How about let's move over to you, Scott, now and find out about some strong stocks. How can we find those? What do they look like? What process are you going through?
Okay, absolutely. Share my screen. Let me know if that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
Scott, the overachiever, putting it all in a presentation.
I know. Oh, well, just because I didn't want to memorize it, the script is too long. Strength during weakness, right? I'm going to talk about some numbers, but don't raise any money, can't afford to lose. All right, enough. People have asked me before where to go to find anything written by me. There you go, prosperitypub.com, blah, blah, blah. You can look at that, okay? And remember, as always, I love Weinstein's stage analysis. I'll explain that another time, but I'm looking for stocks that kind of look like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. First of all, no surprise. This is a monthly chart, so we're looking at super long-term horizon, right? And things were going awesome, and then we hit August, September, October, and it's red, 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 all right? This is the pullback that makes Jeffrey so excited. It makes me so excited. And then Jack couldn't care less because he's going to make money anyway. But for Jeffrey and I, at least for today, what we're talking about today, this is the pullback. Anything that's strong during this 3-month bars or in this 3-month period would be great. This is what the momentum traders, the stock contest winners, they love pullbacks because if there's something strong during a pullback, they feel great about what's coming next. And usually it's an explosive move. And as I mentioned too, it's bounced the 12-month simple moving average. All this bad talk and all of this negative, and we're going to crash. It's bounced right off. Like it's right there. Almost as if it's going to go and make new highs, right? So very interesting as far as the bounce here and all the doom and gloom. But what's been strong specifically during that period? Here is Grab. Now, this is an IPO type stock. I love it when it's a new stock and the simple moving average shows up. And then I love it to get above that simple moving average. And then I love to trade a breakout. So what's been strong? This has been my least strong, but I absolutely love it. And that is last 3 months, right? It's not super great. And I'm sorry, it's tiny. Too many big bars over here for Grab. But it hasn't been as weak as the market. And this 83 number, that's an Investor's Business Daily number. That means on a scale of 1 to 100, 100 or 99 being the strongest stock in the market, this is 83. And historically speaking, if you go back decades and decades, the biggest winners are in that 80 to 90 range, usually before they go. So grab, it's gone sideways. It's above the 12-month. It's bounced off just like the SPY. A break above 392, you don't have to trade low price stocks. I'm just showing you. But a break above 392 is proof. It's not talky talk, it's proof. If it breaks above there, it's made a new high, and who knows where it's going to go. You trail your stop beneath the simple moving average or just have a profit target. But this could really go. And it's been strong during the weakness. And I've got a few more.
Oh,
Here's
okay.
one. Smith & Wesson. Get your guns and your rifles ready. Last 3 months, very green, right? Very big month when everything else was tanking. Not as green, but still green. And you can see the relative strength numbers now in the 90s, 91. So it's in the 91st percentile. It's scale 1 to 100. It's one of the best, right? In the top 10% of all stocks. And you can see that on the chart clearly. A break above 1370. It's above the line. It's already closed several times. It's gone in that narrow channel. I mean, momentum traders, might have just fainted. They love this so much. Sideways action with strength during weakness. A break above 1370. Again, this is a long-term chart, so it wouldn't be an hour trade. But we've gone up to 35 and we're down 13. Not saying it could get there, but last time it broke during the pandemic, it went from around 11 up to 40.
Nice.
So this thing can move, which seems crazy. Smith & Wesson doesn't seem like it's one of those, but it is strong and it's got a breakout level that we can watch very, very closely should the market turn.
Nice.
Here's Meta.
There we go.
Interesting little social company. Look at that strength. Now, it's been super strong in 2023, right? It came out early in the bear market, right? We're in the middle of 2022, and then it showed strength kind of before everything else, and it's been a monster winner. But look what it's done. It's above the long-term moving average. And here we go, 4 months, sideways. Oh, and look, it's contracting. If you drew trend lines across the top, it's getting narrower and narrower. If it breaks out of this range around the 324.15, a bullish market with all that AI and all the tech and all the wind behind it. Meta is something definitely I'm watching. And look at strength rating. During all that market garbage, it's a 98, even though it hasn't gone gangbusters like it did here before. So Meta is something that, what's that?
Got a quick question for you. Do you ever look at the 52-week high? Like with Meta, in this chart right here, if it's close and gets above that 52-week high, it's going to go real hard higher.
It's funny you say. I absolutely love 52-week highs and all-time highs. They're a real spot where real things happen. Absolutely love that. If it can break this little narrow range, and break through and then go again, oh my goodness. Yeah. 100%. Love 52-week highs. Love. Here's my mouse, Logitech, LOGI, right? My mouse, look at him. He's celebrating. During the pandemic, this one really broke out of a narrow range and went absolutely crazy from the 40 range, well up over 120. Closed out here. Then it came down during the bear market, and here we go sideways. But the last 3 months, not weak, not super strong, but not bad either. It's a 94 compared to the market and everything else in the market. A break above 73.70 is very interesting. Notice we see a pattern here, kind of strong during the weakness, and they're getting narrow. It's that coiled spring that momentum traders love and that I love to follow. It's building up momentum. Now, we need some volume when it goes. That would be great, but I'm just watching the level, and I totally believe the volume will pick up as it breaks this level, especially if the market backs it up. But 73.70 on LOGI. Got a couple more. Warby Parker. Actually anybody bought eyeglasses? Interesting. They're cheap and good.
I've heard that.
When will they pay me? Do I get a check for that? It's an IPO, new type of stock. Look at that IPO action. Maybe we shouldn't have done an IPO in 2022, but whatever. It's gone sideways since then, but it's been, except for this red month here, back July-ish, it's been real strong lately. It's now above its 12-month simple moving average. A 15-20 breakout, or even just one more close above. I mean, this one, you see what the upside was previously when it came out during all the bearishness. I mean, if it went from this 15 level, I mean, we see on the chart in the 50 level, not saying it can get there, but this is, again, strong during week, and it's coiling, and it could go. And here's Verx. Look at that strength recently, last 3 bars. It's gone sideways, and it's reaching a very big level. That's kind of 52-week high-ish, right, Jack? Because this goes back to 21. So for the past few years, this is the high. It's been strong. It's right there, just begging for it. 2377 is a possible level. You could see it. I mean, if the market turns and we get some backup from the bullishness overall, I don't know. This one could go. And here's one that's a little bit more conservative. UNH. I mean, what a long-term, you get a little dividend, whatever. It's 79, so it's not as strong, but it's gone sideways, and it's been strong when the SPY's been weak. We've got a close above the 12. This could be an end of the month trade, regardless of what level it breaks. Do you like long-term holds? This has gone sideways during the bearishness. I mean, healthcare tends to stay around, whether it's recession or not. And this could go. I just wanted to show a long-term hold too. This way, if this one breaks above that magical high that Jack said also after this mini break, I mean, this is something that you can hold for a long time. You can see the winning trades with my little algo here. I mean, that's months and years, whatever. So that's a more of a longer term, less frantic stock, but still something I'm watching very closely.
Very nice. Excellent. Those are really great. Hey, people want to be reminded too, how can they follow you, Scott, as well? Can you show that slide that you
Yep, I can go
put up
right
there
back.
again, and everybody get a snippet of there.
There you go.
There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah, Scott puts out a lot of great content, the written, everything. And we love having him here on Ask the Pros, giving us a different perspective that we don't always get, but it's so valuable. Understanding the multiple time frames, I think you all agree, and how helpful that is. So snip that. Thanks for sharing all that with us, Scott.
Sure.
Write down those ideas. Okay, well, let's find out what is this roadmap line that you're talking about, Jeffrey? Where are we on it? How has it been working? How can we use it in the future? You know, what is it? And how does it help us get on the right side of the markets? Because we want to make money. Tell us how.
As always, right? I mean, everybody just wants to make some money. Just cut out all the extra crap. Just tell me what to do.
Exactly. Get to the point here.
Right
We
here.
could have been done 10 minutes, 30 minutes ago. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
here's the S&P 500. The chart that I've shown off for a long time on Ask the Pros is this simple chart. First, a year ago, we started out in August, with this chart when I drew the rollover, and it pretty much happened. And then October last year, we were in this zone down here, and I was like, I think we're about to bottom. And then we haven't really looked back since. And now here we are, October this year, and I think we're about to bottom. So right here, I think this could be a long-term bottom. And I kind of drew it in like a couple days ago for members that follow me on YouTube. Drew this in here that we might rally up here, get a little retrace and take off and kind of make a head and shoulders pattern. You see this little red head and shoulders. We're kind of filling it out here. So we may see a retrace next week. If we hold a higher low, that's a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders for those that follow that kind of pattern. That potentially setting up in the market there. On the simple, that's just a daily close chart right there. And we hit the roadmap line. I was looking at it bouncing off of this zone right here, this orange box, which was the high from March last year, March, April. We kind of turned down off of that and came back to that roadmap line, building up strength here. Now we're going to go attack it. As I started out earlier, that move from March till July was one of the strongest, fastest, biggest moves we've had in the markets for the last, since World War II. That's a long time ago, way before my time. And so that one right there representing one of the top 95 moves, top 5% right there. We had to correct. I mean, it was just like Jack said, these things get tired. They need the rest. They got to recover. They got to shake out some weak hands and get us set back to rally again. And that's where I feel like we are right now. Now, is today the bottom? I'm not going to say today's the bottom. We could make a lower low Monday, Tuesday. It could happen. The market can do whatever it wants to, but right now we're in a condition to bottom, and we may have put it in on Tuesday when we made that low. That's where we're at, and that market roadmap line was my target.
And
So,
yeah, and I think the point is too that what you're saying is people need to be very aware right now. They need to be on their toes, watching for these opportunities, right?
yeah, if you're believing the mainstream media that everything's about to break down and we're going to go on this epic Black Monday crash, I think you might be surprised what happens in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, you really got to pay attention to who
Yes.
you're listening to in this market also. I don't mean to interrupt you there, Jeffrey,
No,
but it's crazy, give you a little analogy. I'm on this cabin, I'm fly fishing every day, and the rancher I talk to, I go out there the other day, he caught a trout probably, I don't know, 25, 26 inches. I just couldn't believe it. And I said, what'd you catch him on? And he shows me this nymph. It's got a shiny bead head. I say, this is exactly what every guide in town says not to use. He says, nobody knows nothing. Don't listen to anybody, and I thought, man, that is like, had he been listening to everybody, he wouldn't have used that lure. It's just tune it all out, man. This is a lot of nonsense and noise. And I think you'd be better. Like I told Celeste earlier, I stopped reading the Wall Street Journal and Barron's and all that stuff because too exhausting. But don't listen to anybody. Just listen to Jeffrey and Scott. I think you'll be right on the money, but there's a lot of noise out there right now.
Certainly is.
that's a track record history. How many times does CNBC make you money? I mean, I've seen a lot of people, like, you can literally pull up the same headline from CNBC and it explains the market going up or down, like the exact same wording, side by side. And it's like, okay, I'd love to be in an industry where that is. All they're trying to do is get you to click on the article and read it because they're displaying you ads. I mean, that's their game. Like, if you can click on, like, if that got you to click before, it's going to get you to click again. It doesn't matter what they're saying. You're going to see the ads, and that's how they make their money. So
Exactly right.
unfortunately, that's the way this works. And the news, they just want you to tune in so you watch the ads, so they make their money.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not actually trying to help you. Me, on the other hand, I'm trying to help you. I think that's why Scott's here. I think that's why Jack's here, and Celeste, I know it's certainly why you're here.
Yep.
Just trying to help some people get ahead.
Exactly. In these crazy markets, people have said that they're, they're chaotic. People have been typing that into the chat. Yes, they're very chaotic. And so how do you guys make a crazy market have reason? You do it by using tools like this. So I love this roadmap thing. You've brought this to us for years, Jeffrey. We have seen the success of this. We've seen you just draw things on there. So, keep sharing, share some more on what you're seeing with that roadmap.
And you see, when we plummeted right down to it, I mean, we were getting acceleration right down into it. And then we've just been chopping around for, 8 days-ish, right down here, just stuck on it. And as soon as we break above this candle right here, that high, right around 43.30, it's game on for going higher again. You can see we kind of pull that over there, and it's right there. Stopped right there. The market's telling you that's a key level, 43.30. We get above 43.30, we're probably going up and not looking back. That's right there.
How does this look on like, some of the other indices, like the QQQ or the diamond or some of the equal weighted type things? How does it look on those?
So right here, QQQ, we'll pull that up. We came up just a little shy, and we've already been pulling above that resistance that I was talking about, just drawing it on the SPY there, or the S&P 500. SPY is basically the S&P 500. So we're already pulling ahead. QQQ is already tipping its hand that it's about to go. And if we look at some of the Magnificent Seven, these key ones, Apple came down early on this correction. It got there fast, all the way back in August. It took no time to drop from that July high right down into August. Bounced up, found a little resistance. The market pulled it on down, and it parked right back down here for another visit. And it's been here for a month. just a little above, a little below, just not going anywhere. It's waiting for the market to catch up. Now, the one that the other one of the top two Magnificent Seven, the one we were actually waiting on was Microsoft right here. It dropped with Apple and came up short. It rallied back up, and then it finally got here. And since about last week, right around that 26th, 27th, the day we hit this, I've been waiting. I've been like, we're about to find the bottom. I got a little bit like a parrot on my YouTube channel every day. I'm like, we're about the bottom. Like it's imminent that this is going to be the bottom, because I was waiting on these two stocks, Apple and Microsoft, to agree that we were down here, and then we're ready to go. Now, a minute ago, I was talking about Google being strong, and this fits with what Scott was saying. Look, it didn't even try really to drop down to that roadmap line. This one's gonna rip.
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
That's a good word for it. It's gonna rip.
Bill Ackman thinks so too, by the way.
Yeah.
This right here is showing a lot of strength. I mean, we're close to I think that's a 52-week high. Like right there, we're right at it today.
Yep.
This one's gonna take off. Like I'm pretty certain.
Yeah.
Now, some of the other ones, Amazon. Just sticking with big tech here. We parked right on the roadmap line. Didn't drop below it. We're just parked right there, waiting. As soon as the market turns, this one's likely to go up to about 150 to 160 on the next run. That's beautiful. Like I've been looking for that target on Amazon for almost a year. Since we were doing this price action down here, that's been my target. So this one's showing amazing strength. And unfortunately, like Nvidia showing a lot of strength, but I also think that it's been tired for a while. And this one made a heck of a move, and it's sitting at a price to sales that's a little bit ridiculous when you look at the historical here. So this is another thing I look at, is that the price to sales, because you can't fake sales. You can fake earnings, you can fake a lot of stuff, but you can't fake sales. So when you compare price to sales, things over 20 tend to be a little on the dangerous side. Historically, this one sits right at 20. And we peaked out at like 47. We're pulling back a little bit. It either needs to ramp up its sales a whole lot more, or it's got more room to pull back. So I am a little cautious on Nvidia, even though it's shown some strength sitting up here. We may see a little more rotation or a little more sideways until the sales catches up and gives it more room to run. I was a buyer down here, I was a seller up here, and I've just kind of been waiting for this to set back up again. Yeah. So I just, even though there's opportunities, you got to be careful which ones you pick. I don't want to just, it's not just a blanket, everything fits this category. So there are a couple other things to check on. Now, Spotify did a correction, came up, and it's just been parked right here, waiting for the market to finish up its correction. And I feel like it's set up to go. We talked about this on the premium last week, Celeste.
Yes.
And my targets are still valid at 196 and 214 on those upside targets. We're just sitting there waiting for that breakout. We break above that high we made on September 18th. And it's probably game on for this next leg higher on Spotify. Now this, I create every week. I create a list of ones that are down here bouncing, potentially finding support on this roadmap line. And just going through the one I put out this week, look, we have Applied Materials here. Just sitting there waiting. AMD potentially breaking out of the downtrend here. And we did dip a little lower, potentially breaking out today. This one has potential to get up to like 150. Beautiful potential.
And how do you find those, Jeffrey? You say, every week you're looking and you have a list, you put it out. How do you find those that are bouncing off of your roadmap line?
I have some criteria that I use a method to look at a weekly uptrend and a daily downtrend. And I combine those with some other filters and come up with a list. And then I manually have to look through the list. The list was over 100 tickers last week. And I culled it down to, let me roll down here and find the actual count. 27 tickers were on this week's watch list.
Nice.
So I took that list of over 100. I said, like 70-ish of these don't actually look that great.
Yeah.
for one reason or another. And then I put out this list of 27. You know, we promise at least six tickers every week are going to be fitting this pattern. 6 is the minimum. You're going to get at least 6. But like last week was 27. That shows you the potential bounce that was forming in the market. You know, some of these are really nice looking, like the Microsoft is in there. And we've got even a leveraged QQQ is in
Ooh,
there.
my favorite.
You know,
Ooh.
TQQQ in here, right there. Tesla was in here,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Yeah.
doing a double bounce.
Yeah.
This thing is set to go to about 350, I think.
Yeah.
You know, there's just some tremendous opportunities in here. XLK is another one that looks like it's about to go on a rocket ride. You know, very, very nice, beautiful setup right here. So, and I, you know, this is what you pay and what you subscribe to me for is for me to go in and cater and find the best of the best.
Well,
So you
how
don't have
can
to
we
spend all your time.
subscribe? How can we get involved? How do we get that roadmap? How do people get it? What's the process?
Yeah, so let me give you an opportunity to join this and get this, jump on this. If you know, I brought an opportunity today, and let me pull this up to the top so I can expand it. There we go. And I want to share that special opportunity. Let you get in with me. I have this proprietary tool. It's the only one on my chart most of the time. Like if you come watch my YouTube, that orange line is about the only indicator I ever have on the chart. It's that important to me. It doesn't matter the time frame. It's always there, right there. Now, that one line helps me anticipate stocks before they rise. It helps me sell stocks before they crash, helps me build that weekly watch list of stocks to monitor. And it feeds so many of the other things that I do. It's that important to me. Every week, I release this watch list of stocks that I find using this tool, as Celeste just quizzed me on. And I like to send that out to you for the next 12 weeks. Each week, I'll give you a list. It's part of the service that I call the Market Roadmap. You're going to get this watch list every single week. Better yet, you're going to get the code for the indicator. Now, does it work in XYZ platform? Well, if you can add some EMAs to your chart, it'll work in that platform. But I have an easy button for TradingView, and I have an easy link for Thinkorswim all set up already. So if those two platforms, if you use them, it's super simple. You just click a button and you got it. Then normally I charge like 47 bucks or more for this. I mean, it's not a high price thing. It's that important. I want lots of people to access it. But for a special audience today that's here with us, and I ask the pros, I have a special discount, a special price. I'm going to slash it all the way down to all of you. And you can get this for 3 months for just $5. And you get to keep the indicator forever if you want it.
Wow.
So right there,
Dude,
$5.
I'm in.
Is this important? Like I want everybody to have it. So like $5, I mean, you know, just to cover the administration costs, you know, $5 and you're in. You're going to get my weekly watch list, full access to this roadmap indicator, all. And it's just a few clicks away. So go to jeffreytrader.com/ATP right now, simple ATP, and we're on Ask the Pros. Or if you need some help, you know, you can call the team 855-454-0816. You could claim this right now. I mean, $5, super simple, super easy. You know, do this instead of buying a cup of coffee. I mean, come on. Oh, almost forgot. One more thing. I'm always about going above and beyond, you know. As soon as you join me, you get to keep this thing forever. Like I said, it's yours. And you get in my Discord group. Like,
oh, nice.
Extra bonus.
Yeah.
So jeffreytrader.com/ATP. Give the team a call, 855-454-0816. You can claim this thing. You can use it. You can have it up and running this weekend when I throw out the list on Sunday.
Fantastic.
So
That's for such a time as this in this market. Are you kidding me? I mean, the value of just being able to get that roadmap to be able to more clearly see what's going on in the market, get Jeffrey's handpicked watch list. That's amazing. That's amazing. And then being in that Discord, Jeffrey, we haven't talked about that in a while, but that Discord that you run is wow. I mean, talk about just an encyclopedia of trading in there, a wealth of information, and the trade ideas. Fantastic. What a great community you have.
yeah, I've got several traders are in there this year that have made over 6 figures already, and we still got like 3 months left. So what's the value of being able to talk to expert traders? And some of those guys are working full time and pulling down 6 figures trading. So
Perfect.
I mean,
perfect. Sounds like a great place to be.
Smart people.
Yeah, sounds like a great place to be. And for just $5, yeah, like you can't even buy coffee anymore for that. So go ahead and grab yours. You can pick up that phone, 855-454-0816, or just go straight there to jeffreytrader.com/ATP. Just pick it up. I mean, wow, what a gift. What an early gift. That's great, Jeffrey.
Yeah, I try to cut, I think it's important. I've cut the price down to $5 just to like, come on. You need this on your chart. I mean, it's the only thing I use most of the time is just like, where's this? I call it a support and resistance line. When price is below it, it's going to be resistance. When price is above it, it's going to be support. That's the way it works. Like it's that simple. It's a support and resistance line. It's based on Fibonacci, but you don't need to worry about all that crap. It's just a simple line on your chart.
Easy to understand. That's what we love. It's simple and easy, and that it works. I mean, wow, that's it, and everybody's saying, oh, it's so chaotic out there, but your line makes it just feel really calm in the market. Hey, we were waiting for this. This is what we want. Now it's here. How can we trade this? And to have that list actively updated by Jeffrey each week. It's really, really great. So how does that work again, Jeffrey, with the different platforms?
Yeah, like I said, I give you the code. It's just 2 EMAs that you put on the chart. They're special EMAs. I feel like they're special because they work so well. And they're Fibonacci based. And if you have TradingView, it's a one-click button. If you have Thinkorswim, it's a one-click link. I got a toss.mx link for you. And if you got any other platform, I'll tell you the 2 EMAs. You just have to, just join me and I'll tell you what they are. It's super easy. But you get the watch list, and that's probably more valuable than anything else. Plus, I make a video every week going through every one of the tickers on the watch list, where I would get in, where I would get out, where I'd put my stop. I mean, that's above and beyond, really. Like, that wasn't even part of the original $5 plan, but
Wow. That
so
is
you get a video and a watch list and the indicator. I mean,
wow.
the only thing I'm not doing there is alerts. I don't put out trade alerts for those. Some of the members do when they take an entry, but I don't put out actual trade alerts for that.
Nice. What a fantastic tool. Easy to use. I love that. I love that. So everybody, you just need to go grab it. It's perfect timing right now. We're here at the beginning of October, and get that watch list, get that roadmap line on your software, and start looking at it like Jeffrey does. He's called quite a few tops, bottoms, all kinds of moves here on Ask the Pros. We're glad that he has joined us here and given you this opportunity. So take advantage of it. And with that, everybody have a great weekend. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Jack. Thank you so much for being here with us. Jack, you going to go out and do some more fly fishing today?
Yeah, right now. As a matter of fact, it's warming up. It was cold last night. I can't wait to get out there today.
Don't use the wrong lure, Jack. Don't use the wrong one.
Yeah, I know. I'm not listening to anybody like the ranchers. So crazy.
Yeah, that's great. Well, what time do we come over for dinner, Jack?
Well, if I have my usual luck at the Honey Hole, we could have lunch.
All right.
Dinner.
Sounds good.
Back
Sounds
in
good.
15 minutes.
Sounds really good. All right, Jeffrey, thank you for sharing that roadmap with us and those levels. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And Scott as well, thank you for all that information. And y'all have some great content you can take with you into the weekend and study it, apply it next week. Get ready. It's going to be fun. We know where we're going. So anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
Bye.